The idea then is that there will be a constant loop between the White House and all of you about how we should move forward on this, and hopefully this will start breaking down into some concrete takeaways and tasks. Some of the recommendations that have been made are already reflected in the budget that we're proposing. Some new ideas may have arisen that we did not think of, and that can be incorporated as the budget process moves forward in Congress. And so we are very much looking forward to hearing from your ideas, both about process and about substance. And then we will, in 30 days' time, be able to come out with a series of recommendations. In some cases, there may be some things that we can do by executive order that don't require legislation, but there seems to be some consensus are smart things to do. In other cases, it's going to require a legislative, some legislative decisions, and we're going to collaborate closely with the relevant chairs and committees that have jurisdiction. So with that, let me just stop, and what I want to do is just get some comments. A lot of you have been working hard on this, but I'm going to use my presidential prerogative and call on a couple of people first, and then if other people have comments that they want to offer, please raise your hands. And I'm going to start with John McCain because and you know, he and I had some good debates about these issues, but. And I mean what I say here, I think John has also been extraordinarily consistent and sincere about these issues, and I want to see if you, John, you've got some thoughts about where we need to go and some priority areas. I know you were in procurement, for example, which is an area I know we would like to work on together with you.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for doing this. I think it's very important, and particularly the breakout session that we had. Our Secretary of Homeland Security was our leader, and so I think it was a very fruitful discussion. Just one area that I wanted to mention that I think consumed a lot of our conversation on procurement, it was the issue of cost overruns in the Defense Department. We all know how large the defense budget is. We all know that the cost overruns, your helicopter is now going to cost as much as Air Force One. I don't think that there's any more graphic demonstration of how good ideas have cost the taxpayers an enormous amount of money. So we will, and I know that you've already made plans to try to curb some of the excesses in procurement. We really have to do that. We're going to have to pay for Afghanistan, as you well know, and we're not done in Iraq. But most importantly, we have to make some tough decisions, or you, Mr. President, have to make some tough decisions about not only what we procure, but how we procure it. And I thank you for the opportunity of sharing thoughts with a lot of very smart people.
Well, John, this is going to be one of our highest priorities. By the way, I've already talked to Gates about a thorough review of the helicopter situation. The helicopter I have now seems perfectly adequate to me. Of course, I've never had a helicopter before, so, you know, maybe I've been deprived and I didn't know it. But I think it is an example of the procurement process gone amok, and we're going to have to fix it. Our hope is that you, Senator Levin, and others can really take some leadership on this. And one of the promising things is I think that Secretary Gates shares our concern, and he recognizes that simply adding more and more does not necessarily mean better and better or safer and more secure. Those two things are not, they don't always move in parallel tracks, and we've got to think that through.